Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of January 26th. Before we get started, I do want to stress that this report is for current conditions as of today's date. Many factors can cause ice conditions to vary, so please be careful no matter where you fish. For up-to-date ice conditions, feel free to call the shop at 608-241-4225, and we'll let you know what we're hearing around town. Or if you know of some areas that you run into yourself with sketchy ice, do call the shop and let us know so we can pass that along to folks or post in the comments below. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've been pretty busy here at the shop, so hopefully I can knock this out all right. Got a bunch of events to cover quick. The Yahara Fishing Club is having their kids ice fishing day down at Brittingham Park. So that's down on Monona Bay down here on the west end of the park. They got a little point here, and there's a shelter house so just off West Wash. But this is a great event. Kids that come and participate walk away with a free rod and reel. They've got bait on hand. We are happy to donate the bait to that event and support this cool event and group. They have hot dogs and sodas for kids. They got members of the club there to provide guidance. They drill the holes for you. So if you've got a kid that might be interested in ice fishing, or maybe you just got a kid you want to keep busy for a couple hours tomorrow, take them down there. It looks like the weather's going to be great. And yeah, the event's from 9 to noon. It's totally free, and it's a great way to get a kid into ice fishing. And the good news is, too, down there to Brittingham Bay, they've been catching fish, a lot of them lately. So good chance you'll be able to catch a fish. So thanks to the Yahara Fishing Club for hosting these kids fishing events and everything they do. Again, I want to stress, please support that group. They do a great job for fishing in the Madison area. Another event going on on Monona Bay tomorrow is the Badger Battle on the Bay. So this is a fishery style event hosted by the Wisconsin fishing team. They do it as a fundraiser to support their travel and stuff that they do to go to their different tournaments. So it looks like a $20 registration fee to get in, and it's open to the public. It looks like you had a chance to win some cool prizes, and of course, prizes for biggest fish and stuff like that. So that's open to the public. Check that out. Last Sunday on Monona Bay, the Kicker Cup hosted their first event of their Winter Cup series. It went really well. Some guys caught some really nice fish. Had folks traveling from all over the state and area to fish the event, and it went really well. Yeah, the folks at the Kicker Cup do a great job, and they have their next event on Lake Okauchee, which is over there by Delafield, this Sunday, the 28th. So if you want to test your skills against some of the best anglers in the area and beyond, get over there. You can still register for this event. And yeah, they do a great job. And yeah, check that out. Also, so this will start the series of events going on February 3rd. So that's next Saturday. The Clean Lakes Alliance is hosting their Frozen Assets Festival. That's going to be on Lake Mendota off over there by the Edgewater. Let's see, we're right. Edgewater, is between James Madison Park and the Union. So right here on kind of the southeast corner of Lake Mendota. And it's a big event. They get a great turnout. They have a lot of fun stuff that they do. Different events, good stuff for kids. They do a kite flying thing on Lake Mendota. They'll be doing that Sunday. But they have a 5K run that they do, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, if you want to check that out, go check it out. If you want to avoid it, maybe avoid it. If you're looking to fish, maybe avoid that corner of the lake on Saturday and Sunday. Otherwise, we'll take a look at the front door. Of course, post all kinds of posters here on the front door. If you've got an event you'd like to promote, feel free to swing by and drop off a poster. The Backcountry Hunters and Anglers are hosting their icebreaker event on Koshkonong on the 3rd. Looks like they launch at Vinny Ha Ha there. So, and that's a banquet, type fundraiser thing for them. The Budweiser, the King of the Lakes is ice fishery is happening on, it's run across the Madison chain, but I believe they run that out of Christie's over there. So, on Lake Wabisa. But you're welcome to travel across the whole chain of lakes. That's February 3rd. Got the same deal, prizes, a lot of stuff going on there. So check that out if you want on Lake Wabisa. But it will be probably a busy day on Lake Wabisa there too, if you want to avoid something. But down on Lake Koshkonong as well on the 3rd, we got the ladies ice fishing contest down there. So this looks like fun. That's out of Dooner's Bar and Grill. And then let's see other stuff. Oh, the Capital City Muskie School is coming up. So if you're into muskies and want to learn more, that's March 23rd at Wanakee High School. And this is a great event. I know a lot of folks that speak at it. Noah Humfeld, Tuck Style that repairs reels here at the shop. Also very knowledgeable muskie angler. Some of the guys from down the road at Muskie Fool will be there. Duffy Kopf, a whole bunch of people that are associated with the shop here and do a great job are going to be down there helping you learn more about muskies. So give that a look too, and you can check that out at the Capital City Muskies Inc. Website. I think that does it for announcements. So we can get on to the report. So weather-wise, geez, what a difference a week can make again. It was nice of that cold snap to break. We had comfortable temps all week with quite a few folks getting out on the ice last weekend. We were very busy at the shop, and this week we got about 2 to 3 inches of snow on Tuesday here in Madison, and that's actually helped insulate the snow, ice we got, and soak up some of the rain we had the last couple of days. So local ice hasn't suffered that much. We did get a little more rain last night, and I'll pull up this map here. This is that iWeatherNet map, and it's a 72-hour rain total here in the Madison area. You can see we're in that like quarter-inch range we got around town here, but just to the south they got quite a bit more rain. At least a half inch or more. I got a call from a guy who guides down in Delavan and Lake Geneva, and he was saying the ice down there is not looking great. He said he walked off Delavan and the water was almost up to his knees. And I've been getting folks from over in the calls from folks in the Milwaukee area looking to see if there's good ice over here because apparently they got a lot of water sitting on the ice there too. So anyway, that's a nice handy tool here to check the rainfall. But we've got some comfortable temps continuing this weekend. Looks like a great weekend to get out on the ice. Temps in the mid 30s. Those will continue through next week. A little chance for rain. But the nice thing is they're kind of backing off some of the 50-degree temps they were talking about for next weekend, which is good to see. So I think the ice is going to hold on for a while. But obviously stay tuned to our reports here, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on around town. But yeah, generally as far as fishing goes, we're having a weird winter. The bitter cold last week, and it was raining when I came in this morning. So quite a swing in temperatures. That cold snap brought us all our ice all at once, so anglers were able to get on Lake Mendota the same week that people were fishing Monona Bays for early ice. So that's something you don't see every year for sure. So reports coming into the shop have been kind of scattered rather than the usual progression from shallow water out to deep. But the good news is that folks are getting fish all around the chain. I'll go over specific ice conditions as we go through the report. But many areas around town are safe for ATV travel, and foot travel is safe pretty much everywhere across the chain. Live bait dominates ice fishing season, so we've got a great selection of minnows here at the shop for whatever toothy fish you might be chasing. On the panfish side of things, of course, spikes, waxies, and plastics have been working great, but we do have a limited supply of mousies. I think I made a post about this on social media, but yeah, we got just a limited supply of mousies in. This is a larva of a drone fly, which actually looks kind of like a bee, but they don't sting you. Anyway, they got these creepy tails. They look like a gray waxworm, and they got these long tails, and they look kind of creepy. They scoot across the ground like a waxworm, and but it's kind of an old school bait, but folks swear by them, and it's not something you see every day. So if you want to try something new, swing in the shop and feel free to pick those up. As far as getting into some details here around the chain. So up on Cherokee, things were quiet during that bitter cold, but like I mentioned last week, usually the warmer temps turn the fish on up there, and it appears that seems to be the case. I was up there Wednesday, and I was catching a lot of small fish. I couldn't get into any big ones, but I was moving around a lot, mostly from this end here up through this whole corner, just poking around, trying to find some weeds and trying to find some fish. All I could find was small fish, but I know some folks that day had found some keepers. And yesterday, a buddy of mine did pretty well out there. So, get up and check Cherokee Marsh out up at Cherokee Park. Some good tip-up action out there to be had, too. Nothing going on at the 113 bridge, but down on Mendota, lots to talk about here. I get a lot of calls at the shop, folks wondering about ice conditions, and so I'll try to go over all this. Obviously, some areas have been iced over longer than others. I've heard reports ranging anywhere from 4 inches to 10 inches across the lake. But Mendota is generally safe for foot travel, and folks are running ATVs in many areas, although generally speaking, I'm not considering the lake safe for full ATV travel yet. The sketchiest areas that I've heard about was a sizable crack that came off Governor's Island here on the west side of Governor's Island and headed towards the state park over here. That area was visible the other day with snow. You could see it was a gray area with snow on both sides. I'm not sure what the rain has done to that snow and how visible it is. So if you go off Governor's Island, you can go off this west side here on the Warner Bay side and get pretty much anywhere you want to go. Or if you want to access North Bay, just hug the shoreline over here because that cracks, like I said, stretches from Governor's over towards the state park. Um, Otherwise, it sounds like most of the main basin out on Lake Mendota is at about 6 inches of ice or more. I've heard about a couple areas off Mendota County Park over here that have, I had a guy come in and say he found 4 inches of ice in a couple spots. So those might be the spots from some goose and swan holes that were keeping the ice open out here. But do use caution going off Mendota County Park. I heard that the area over here by Captain Bill's and the hatch cover, whatever you want to call it, where what do you call the creek there? Pheasant Branch dumps in, has been opening up, as we get more rain and some warmer water coming through. So use some caution if you're launching over there. Haven't heard any problems about Marshall Park or Spring Harbor, but always use caution when you're out, especially when we get some rain like this. There was a big sketchy area of ice, open water as early as last Thursday. Just west of Second Point here. So that probably explains why I haven't heard a lot of reports off the Second Point area, although I have seen some folks fishing out there. Ice in University Bay and along the University shoreline sounds like it's fine. But I think that pretty much does it for reports. As far as bars go, folks have been getting out on Dunn's Bar. I saw some ATVs out there. Folks have been getting out to Brearley bars. I think I heard like 8 inches on Dunn's, maybe 10 off Brearley. Haven't, like I said, nothing off Second Point. But folks have been getting walleyes and some pike on mid-lake humps. So the panfish action too around Mendota has been. I guess I haven't heard much. The gills are notoriously hard to find on Mendota, with University Shoreline and University Bay being your best bet, but I haven't heard any reports out of there yet. Crappie population in Mendota, in my opinion, is down in general, so not a lot of crappies out there. And a few folks poking around out in the main basin looking for perch have not been super successful picking up a fish here or there. So yeah, haven't been able to get on the big schools, but like I said, there aren't a lot of folks running ATVs around Lake Mendota. Otherwise, the rest of the report should go pretty quick here. Lake Monona ice, from what I've heard, has a consistent 8 to 9 inches pretty much everywhere, with a bunch of slush on top from the recent snow and rain we've had. Unfortunately, outside of the great pan fishing on Monona Bay and the Triangles, I haven't heard much action down on Monona as far as like folks running around for perch and that. My son and I actually went down here on Weechawuk Bay, formerly known as Squaw Bay, and we actually got skunked down there. I got a pretty reliable spot, and I don't even remember the last time I got skunked down there. But yeah, we couldn't make it happen on Sunday. Haven't heard anything out of Turville Bay, but like I said, Monona Bay has been the best bite in town as far as panfish go. Lots of fish coming out of Monona Bay and the North Triangle. Haven't heard a lot of reports out of the South Triangle, but there's almost always fish everywhere around there. Lake Wingara, great place to keep a kid busy if you want to, catch a bunch of dinks. Maybe put some tip ups out. There's some good action for pike and some nice largemouth in there. So. But yeah, Lake Monona, while the ice is generally safe, one area I would look out for would be at the mouth of the Yarhari here. That's always a little sketchy ice there, and maybe around the power plant. But otherwise, I've heard nothing but pretty safe ice out there. So have at it, and let me know if you're getting any fish out there. Otherwise, over here to Upper Mud, we have the trail out here has been passable and actually pretty pleasant from what I hear. You can park at this county property right off Terminal Drive and access the mud lake there. I've heard mixed reports. Sometimes the panfish are on fire, sometimes they're not. Tip-up action's been pretty good. Down on Wabisa, I've heard pretty much the same conditions. It sounds like 8 to 10 inches of ice, or I guess 10 to 12. We'll say 8 to 12 inches of ice across the lake. Folks are running ATVs all over there, and I haven't heard much in the way of folks catching fish. A few walleyes around the Hog Island area. Not much for panfish up in Lake Farm. A few folks are picking up pike up there. There are a few permanent shacks out there. Down on the south end, haven't heard much for panfish. A few crappies off the Bible Camp and Babcock areas with some walleyes mixed in there. But reports off Wabisa have been, I just haven't heard many. Like I said, it's kind of a weird winter with everybody being scattered all at once. It's hard to keep track of who's fishing where. Kind of the same deal on Kegonsa. Folks have been running ATVs all week, all over the lake down there. The ice sounds like it's good. Same kind of probably 10 inches average down there. But again, haven't heard much in the way of reports. Folks looking for perch out in the main basin have been striking out, and it's been a tough go for folks searching the weed lines around the lake. looking for bluegills, but there are some, of course, some dandy bluegills in there if you can get on them. Down to Lake Koshkonong, it sounds like they have a fair amount of ice. Sounds like 8 to 10 inches, but some folks getting some walleye. But it sounds like there are several seams popping up around the lake, so do use caution if you're down there. If you're looking for good information down there, give the folks at the bait box on the Rock a call. They're in Fort Atkinson, a nice bait shop down there, and they do a good job keeping up on reports and on social media and stuff like that. Otherwise, yeah, not much going on the Wisconsin River itself. Up to Beaver Dam. Where is Beaver Dam here? Oh, yeah, Beaver Dam has had. I haven't heard much for walleyes up there. Sounds like they were getting some crappies. I talked to a guy who got into some crappies, but usually there's a great walleye bite. But from what I hear, it's been pretty quiet. Over here to Lake Wisconsin, we don't need to talk much about the river because it's been pretty icy over there. But Lake Wisconsin has been seeing some good panfish action over here in the Harmony Grove area, and then also Moon Valley. I've been hearing about some crappies off Moon Valley, up to Wayland's Grade, some panfish coming off up in here, but that action's been maybe a little less productive than some of the other areas. Otherwise, out on the main lake, I've been hearing about some good walleye action, although size can be an issue. I've also heard about folks marking large schools of 8 fish swimming around, so that is what a lot of people are at least currently blaming for their lack of success out there. Haven't heard much out of Petenwell or Castle Rock, other than up to Petenwell. I heard that there's a lot of heaves up there for whatever this reason, so do use caution if you're heading up to Petenwell. Otherwise, over to the river, they're fishing, from across, up and down the river. All the backwaters are in great shape. Folks getting some fish there, and perch is kind of the big deal out there. So folks, the guides running airboats, of course, are getting people out there. But I've heard that a lot of the backwater, with that cold snap we got, has been pretty accessible. So that's good to hear. Over to Milwaukee in the harbors, I heard that there were some folks getting out in the harbor, by the Memorial, what is it, Veterans Memorial Park, whatever they call this, down by Summerfest, getting in the lagoon down there. But that action has might be sketchy now because I've heard, obviously, I mentioned in the intro that Milwaukee's been getting a lot of rain. So might want to look online or call a shop over there. Otherwise, I think that pretty much does it for the ice fishing report. I want to remind folks that early season trout is still open, and folks, weren't getting out much this last week with all the cold weather we had. A lot of streams capped over, but from what I hear, a lot of them are open now that we've warmed up. And we're going to talk for a happy fly day here. We're just going to talk about midge patterns. Midges are some of the only dry fly action you'll have out there. And I heard from a couple of folks online that they are seeing some fish rising to midges now. So what we have here is just a bunch of, I'd almost always just exclusively stick with black this time of year. They're tiny little black flies in the mosquito family, only they don't have mouth parts like a mosquito. But anyway, very effective fly this time of year. But, if there aren't fish looking up, you can try any nymph, but I don't know. I just tie on a pink squirrel and let it ride. These I sell them in 12, 14, and 16 here, and really, in my opinion, that's the only fly you need for the winter if your mission is catching fish. Of course, I love using dry flies and tying some of these small flies, but it's hard to beat a pink squirrel if you're looking to catch fish. So anyway, it is catch and release season, so all fish need to be released that you catch. But it's a great time to get out. It looks like some pleasant temps for this week. I think that pretty much does it for the report. I want to thank you for tuning in, and do feel free, like I said, to call the shop at 241-4225 if you want any updates on current ice conditions. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck out there, and be safe. Take care.